What's up, y'all? It's Kishshana, and I am back for another quick shot of vitamin K. So I have been walking us through some really big topics in management and giving you sort of like the bite-sized version of them. So if you haven't checked out our videos, make sure you go back for self-management, managing up, and managing down. But today in our series, I want to talk with you about managing performance. Now, friends, we could have a whole masterclass on this. And in fact, just last week, I was with a really amazing organization working with all of their senior leadership around performance management. So I'm in the business of relationships, the relationships at work. So when you are managing performance, it is going to be imperative that you have healthy relationships with your team members so that they know that they can trust that you can separate who they are as people from the work that they are doing. It's actually pretty hard because oftentimes we kind of get it all together. Like, if your work sucks, then you suck. But that's actually not true for most of us. Sometimes it's a matter that we are not in the right role. Sometimes it's a matter that we haven't been resourced well. And sometimes it's a matter that we signed up for job A, but we are doing job Z, and we're not cool with that. But we want to keep our job, so we just keep doing it. And so our performance slips. Sometimes there's stuff going on at the house that really kind of like seeps into how we show up at work. And I know, somebody's going to say, leave your home at the door. But friends, everywhere you go, there you are. And so you really can't leave yourself when you leave one area and go to another. So let's be realistic. So how do I want you to think about managing performance? First, you really can't effectively manage performance if you don't have a clear work plan and rubric about what good performance looks like. And because that can be very subjective, we have to make sure that it is equitable as well. Y'all, that's a whole different video. So let's say you've gone through the steps and you have a really clear work plan for your team members. They understand how their job description aligns to their work. They understand how their work streams align to their KPIs, and they understand how the KPIs roll into what matters organizationally. Let's say we've got that down. Then how do you navigate performance? First of all, y'all, setting expectations. Your team should know what success looks like, and they should be able to have a conversation with you, because some of us out here in these leadership and management streets, our expectations are way too high and a little bit unrealistic. So just because you were staying up 14 hours a day and you were getting it out the mud and working weekends and losing sleep and missing weddings doesn't mean your team has to. Let's not model that foolishness, okay? Let's try not to. So first, ensuring that your team is bought in to what does success look like? Then, do we have the resources and the tools to be able to get to that success marker? If you're not providing your team with the tools they need, how do you really expect them to get there? Do we have a measurement tool we use around performance that people understand what high performing looks like, what doing your job looks like, what just showing up looks like, what dialing it in looks like? Do they understand what that means? Is it universal regardless of the type of role they have? Are you having conversations between performance management conversations about how things are going? Are you giving your team member in real-time feedback and suggestions and support? Or are you just asking more questions like I'm asking you right now, but providing no answers? Your team members are not going to come to you if they don't feel like they can actually partner with you and think things over with you and have space to be able to think and then go do. What happens if you have a team member who is not performing up to par? They're slacking on their pimping. All right, friends. First, have you documented this? Even if it's a notepad for yourself, have you been keeping track of the places where they were shining and the places where it got a little cloudy? Have you had conversations with them about this? Have you inquired, what's happening? What's going on? I'm used to seeing your work like this, and now I'm seeing this. Help me understand what's going on. I want to be helpful. Have you been responsive to your team members' requests for help or support, or have you noticed when they don't ask, and can you tap in? Have you helped them to outline a course of action if they're starting to slip off the rails before they slip completely off and you have to do another corrective action? Are they aware of what is happening or what will happen if you have to move along the levels of progression on performance management? Do they know what's at stake? I ask these questions because a lot of times we don't actually dig into ensuring we have a good foundation for how people understand what good performance looks like and how it will be measured. And so it's really hard for us to manage performance because y'all, we just out here all willy-nilly just doing how we doing it, just making it up as we go along. Let's not do that. Or we're all the way on the other side of the fence where we have so many rules and so many processes and so many procedures that it's making your team members' heads spin. So in order to be able to manage performance effectively in that environment, you've got to be able to cut through the noise. Bottom line, friends, in order to manage effectively and to manage performance, whether it's amazing performance that you're trying to get your team members to step up to the next level, or team members who just aren't cutting the mustard, you've got to be able to have a plan. You've got to be able to have clarity around what success looks like. You've got to make sure that you have a tool that you navigate with your team member that helps them understand how they're growing or where they're stalling. You've got to make sure you articulate what the steps will be if you need to move through the progressions of managing their performance. And you got to have an exit strategy, friends, on what happens if you find that that person is in fact not the right work fit, that their skill sets do not match what the job requires. That's a start into how to really think about managing performance. But I could go on about this for hours, y'all. And so if you're like, Kishshana, managing people, it's already tough. But I have somebody on my team that I just want to just punch right in the throat. It's okay. I can say it. You don't have to say it. That I want you to call me or one of my team members. Contact us below. We are experts in navigating managing performance because we really believe that in order to live well, you got to lead well. In order to lead well, you got to live well. And we want to have teams that stick. And so if this is something that sounds like, I need a little more of this in my life, make sure you get with us. Our information is below and our resources are below. Otherwise, y'all, I just want to stop here because I could talk about this all day long. But there's so much more in store in the Kishshanaverse. And so I'll see you around for another quick shot of vitamin K.